Pilots, it's finally here. You knew it was coming. There was only one missing in the lineup. We now have the full range of EDF sizes available for our F-22 here at Motion RC. Hello pilots and welcome to Motion RC. Today is a great day because we now have the final installment in the F-22 lineup. We now have a 64mm, a 70mm, this 80mm, and a 90mm EDF powered F-22. So one for any option of customers. Today is going to be all about the new 80mm F-22. We're going to be getting this out of the box and checking it out. So without further ado, let's slide all this out and let's go over some tech specs here shortly. These carbon spars are for shipping only. Get these out of here. Man, the finish on these things looks great right out of the box. Tech specs for the new 80mm EDF powered F-22. This aircraft is driven by 7 9-gram hybrid digital servos, 3 9-gram digital plastic servos, 2 23-gram metal gear digital servos. The motor is a 3658 2150 kV in-runner motor. It's powered by an 80mm 12-bladed EDF fan. The ESC is a 100 amp brushless ESC with a 7 amp UBEC. All up weight without battery is 2,530 grams. And the recommended LiPo battery to use in this aircraft is a 6S 4,000 to 5,200 milliamp LiPo battery. So pilots, now that you have your F-22 out of the box and you've kind of looked over everything, it's time to actually start our assembly. We're going to start back here on the tail section of the aircraft. You'll see there are 2 metal rods coming out of the back. They have a piece of foam on them. We're going to go on and remove that foam that is just for shipping to make sure these don't get damaged. Then you're going to grab your 2 elevator halves. You will notice they only fit a certain direction and everything lines up. But once you've slid those on, you come with a collet that you're going to slide down on there. Those collets come with 2 little grub screws that use a 2mm Allen key. If you have your Benchcraft 6-in-1 screwdriver, this is a great time to use it, or you can use your MIP driver sets that are available here at Motion RC. Those are my preferred tools to use for a real tight fit and not having to worry about stripping these little guys out. It's gonna make your life a lot easier than the little L-shaped thing. Now, what you're gonna do is put those on, slide the whole section in together, and then you're gonna tighten these down from the bottom, making sure that they have even travel up and down. Once that's done, we can move on to the next step. All right, now that you have your elevator halves installed, you can take the 2 push rods and you can install those on now. You're going to use the outermost hole on the control rod and then just clip it on. Now, once you fire the jet up for the first time, you may need to go in and manually adjust the push rods in and out to get them setting at the correct position. For now, we're just going to snap these on so the elevators aren't sitting there flapping the whole time we're trying to assemble this. All right, pilots, the next step in the process is to get our 2 vertical stabilizers installed in the aircraft, also known as the rudders. What we're going to do is take from the top and find on the PC board that there are 2 different spots here. You've got 2 for rudders and 2 for elevators. These are made to use in a bunch of different models, but the important thing here is you need to go on and plug each rudder half into the PC board in one of the 2 rudder slots. Once you've done that, we can go on and guide the actual rudder down onto the aircraft, and from the bottom, you're going to take the 2mm machine countersunk screws and installed them into the airframe from the bottom until they're tight. Remember, don't over torque these. You don't want to damage these models, but it is going into a metal receiving point with a metal screw, so you are able to kind of cinch these up without having to worry too much. Once you have that done, we can move on to the next step. Now, I know I go over this in every video, but I cannot recommend it enough if you don't have either one of our Benchcraft stands or one of our Ernst stands from here at motionrc.com. It's going to make your life a lot easier when you're putting your airplanes together. So if you want this exact one, they'll be linked down in the description. But yeah, we have a lot of different stands to fit all these different aircraft here at motionrc.com. All right, now that we have the tail of the aircraft done, I have the aircraft setting upside down right here now. I'm using this piece of carpet to set the aircraft on. You could always use your stand also. Just make sure you don't set the aircraft like this on a hard surface. You're gonna tear up the tops of the tail doing it. But like I said, if you got a piece of carpet or an old towel, that's what you want to use to kind of set it on, or your stand. So before you slide your wings on for the first time, the model actually comes with these little caps. All they do is just press fit into the end of the wing tubes to make it align and go in a little easier. Push those in before you put your wings on. Now, for this part, we need to just simply install the wings. This has the same push button mechanisms as the Zeus. For anybody that's had that airplane before, where they just click. And then you have your multi-function control board connectors right there that just pop out for the one wing connects as we put them on. So it's as simple as sliding them on and hitting those buttons. So let's do that right now. Last part to actually assemble on the aircraft is the nose cone. Super easy, just line it up and it's magnetic, just snaps on. If you ever tear that up in the future, it's easy to replace. This is plastic cladded up here, so you can stand it up on this without tearing this up too bad or hit it. This is all plastic up in here. Now, since we're talking about plastic cladding for a second, I do want to show you a couple things on this model. The entire intake, all the way around, is plastic. You also have plastic armoring right here along the, I wouldn't call it the leading edge, but the leading edge extensions right here. And then you also have plastic right here where the wing root meets the actual fuselage around the corner there. And then of course you have the plastic out here on the tips if you were to bang that anywhere out there. There's also a little bit of plastic added right here at the back of the aileron, where the aileron actually meets the fuselage. That's kind of a weak spot there on a lot of F-22 models. That strengthens that up. On the back section of the F-22, the little points that normally get broke off, these are also made out of plastic now. All around the battery bay hatch, you will see here, this has got plastic cladding around this to keep your battery hatch looking good, where you're gonna be pulling this on and off. We know a lot of guys get their fingernails kind of tugged in there and things, so that makes this all hard plastic, so you don't have to worry about that. On the bottom of the aircraft, same thing. There's still that plastic here. There's also all the plastic on the actual mating surfaces to keep those nice and smooth. You have the lights top and bottom. While we're down here too, they're not plugged in just yet, but they will be soon. You have your working doors and your working doors here to keep everything nice and clean on the bottom. Really, really nice model. I have to say, I have the 90, I have the 70, I have them all here. I think the 80 is the nicest F-22 of all of them right now. Just because this is the newest technology. Now, when you compare this to our 90mm F-22, it's still a fantastic airplane. The 90 is getting a little older, and you can really see some of the changes in the design of the aircraft over the years when you look at this new 80. It has all of the features and functions the guys have been dreaming of with the larger aircraft, just in this little bit smaller size. Now at this time, guys, I'm gonna step away for a minute and come back to you once I have this done, but you need at least an 8-channel receiver to take advantage of all functions of this aircraft. You have thrust reverse, you have gyro mode select, then you have flaps, ailerons, elevator, rudder, throttle, elevator. There you go, all 8 of them. So, like I said, 8-channel receiver in this aircraft, hook it up, and we will meet back together and show you around this model at that time. All right, pilots, so at this point I installed the receiver into the aircraft. Remember, I'm using an 8-channel receiver. The reason you need 8 channels is on channel 8, you're gonna put your thrust reverse selection in there. And on channel 7, you're gonna plug your gyro mode selection in there. All you need to do is make sure that is assigned to a 2-position or 3-position switch for your gyro mode switch. The way this is set up out of the box is you're gonna have gyro off and then gyro on in stabilization. If you want recovery mode, it can be turned on if you have your Blue Bridge programming card, which I have done videos on already if you're curious how to set that up in the aircraft. But as it comes right now, you have, like I said, gyro off, and then with the flip of a switch, I now have the gyro on and the airplane's wiggling. The other thing you need to do, like I said, is the reverse thrust. Plug it into any open channel you want. Assign that to a 2-position switch. I like to put mine on a momentary switch, so if you're a Spectrum guy, the bind button. If you're a Futaba, you've got the SH switch over here on the side. Any type of momentary switch is what I like. And then if for some reason you power on the model and you give it throttle and the reverse is the wrong way, you know, as far as you give it power and the airplane's in reverse all the time, just go in and reverse that channel that it's in. So if you have your reversing cable plugged into 8, it's as simple as reversing channel 8 to get it to run the other direction. As far as the flaps go, I went right off the book with the prescribed elevator to flap mix. Whenever we get the flight video out, I'll update you on how all that went. I did run 30% expo on my rudders with 100% rate. That's normally what I like on these. I have 100% throws all the way around for my high rates with 30% expo because I like to have a lot of throw. Now, a lot of guys don't like that. So I do have the cuts underneath it. Go right off the manual. It shows you the cuts. If you want to follow along with what I'm doing, I always do 100% throws all the way around, 80% throws all the way around, and 75 all the way around as a starting point. But on that 100% throw setting, I like 30% expo. It really seems to soften these jets out. But I like having that authority to push it around, especially on an airplane I plan on doing a lot of high alpha with. Yeah, the assembly goes together really fast. You're gonna like this. Also cool, you know, something that sets this a little bit differently apart from the 90mm. This one does have a full lighting package now. So you do have the lights on top of the wings and the bottoms of the wings, the landing lights, the heads-up display up in the cockpit really makes this sharp. This airplane is begging to have a Freewing afterburner in it. So yeah, this is a great model to put the Freewing bifurcated duct afterburner in. If you haven't checked these out, they are available right now at motionrc.com. This screws right onto the back of the motor plate. You run the one wire up to the front that's gonna run your controller, and you run the second wire from the controller to the battery that plugs into your 6S battery port to power this. If you want one of these, we have a video on how to install these and how to use them. They definitely make your models look better, and it's a no-brainer on this airplane to just go on and drop that bad boy in there. Fit and finish of this aircraft is spectacular. Right now, I'll get Lori to cut some shots on the screen right now of our 3 different F-22s in the larger format, excluding the 64mm F-22 right now. I kind of don't consider that one in the same class as these airplanes as far as price and everything. But you can see the 90 here on the screen right now. It is an older airplane, still beautiful, very big, but you can see it's lacking the lights and some of the other features in these newer models. We also have the 70mm for somebody that's got a little less budget, but still wants an awesome aircraft, maybe not quite as big, can fit in the car easier. And now, like I said, the 80 here in front of us, this one is really a full house jet that you've come to love from here at Freewing Models. It's got all the plastic in the right places. It's got the lighting package that everybody's been wanting to see on a future, maybe version 2 of the 90 at some point. You know, if this does well, maybe that'll happen one day. But for now, you know, the 80 is really a sweet spot for me. This airplane's gonna be very powerful. Not gonna have to need a lot of battery on this one. I'm gonna be flying this on the 5000s, and the 4000s that I have here from Admiral. Have a lot of fun with them. And like I said, I think a lot of guys are gonna be really pumped to start flying this airplane. The F-22 90mm is a lot of guys' absolute favorite aircraft, and there's a lot of features on this one that people have been begging for. For one thing, this does have the doors on the retract, so you can see those doors actually function now. So they come out, they stay out while you're on the ground, just like the real scale F-22. Whenever you put the gear up, the doors on the front and the aft section of the aircraft will close up, making it a completely clean bottom for that stealth look. Really, really sharp on this aircraft. The removable wings, super easy, and I think a lot of guys are gonna love the quick connect wings on this aircraft. Just a lot of really good features, like I said, have made it into this model that a lot of guys have been looking for. So guys, without further ado, whether it's air, land, or sea, you can get it right here at Motion RC. And as always, go hit that subscribe button, check out some more of our content. The flights will be up as soon as you see this video. The flights are up, go check them out, and we will see you in the next one. Bye guys.